Welcome to the Cozy Noah Vibes. I'm your host, Nina. Thank you for choosing to join us. Before we begin, find a comfortable position and set aside all tasks. Let's enter a state of calm together. First, let's take a deep breath. Inhale slowly. Then exhale gently. Repeat a few times. Deepen and regulate your breath. Now use your senses to feel every part of your body. Notice any tension or discomfort. Simply acknowledge their presence. Don't try to change them. As you continue to breathe deeply, let's gradually release the tension in your body. Starting from the head and moving downward, gently releasing each muscle. Feel the comforting lightness. We also read a small plastic snake and a big toy frog for the chance. Gently embracing you. Shift your focus to your thoughts. Don't try to eliminate them. Just let them drift by quietly, like clouds drifting in the sky. You are merely an observer, unaffected by these thoughts. Let's take another deep breath, absorbing the peaceful and serene energy. In this moment, you are safe and tranquil. Anything can wait until tomorrow. Thank you for participating in tonight's scientific relaxation moment. May you have a peaceful night. Now as you drift off to sleep, we also need a small plastic snake and a big toy frog for the chance. CCGG. Win Partridge slowly picked out the notes of the song on the piano. He was meant to practice for a quarter of an hour every day. But his dad wasn't due home for another 2 hours, so Ben thought maybe he could stop now and do the rest later. He wasn't very good at writing music yet, and finding the notes on the keyboard was even harder. That's why I don't like practicing, Ben had told his dad yesterday. Well, his dad had said, with a smile, I know how to fix that practice. Ben knew his dad was right. The only way he was going to get any better was to practice. But as he sat at the piano, he kept fiddling with the acorn-shaped locket on his bootlace necklace. He was thinking about his dream again. From yesterday afternoon. In the dream, the old oak tree in the garden had talked to him. And then the tree had given him special powers and he'd flown all over London, rescuing secret documents that belonged to the Queen. Ben had decided it must have been a dream because Well, looks for something beyond estimate. How else could he explain what had happened? But just to make sure it had been a dream. Ben had left the piano and gone outside to the old oak tree in the garden. Standing in front of the tree, he'd felt a bit silly, but eventually he'd said, "Hello, tree, did you show something beyond it by any chance send me on a mission yesterday?" Ben listened for an answer. But the tree was, well, as silent as, well, as a tree. So he shrugged and turned to go back inside. And that was when he'd heard a voice. "Are you talking to me?" The voice said. Ben's heart had leapt into his mouth. But then he realized it was just their next door neighbor, Mrs. Haskett. "Oh, hello, Mrs. Haskett. I can't see you, something beyond. Child, that tree's blocking my view." Mrs. Haskett was always finding things to complain about when it came to their tree. "It's blocking out the sunlight. It drops too many acorns in my garden. It tempts my kids up into the high branches and then they can't get down again." But Ben stepped up from behind the tree and waved hello to her. Politely. Mrs. Haskett sniffed and turned back into her house. Ben was about to do the same, but then he heard a voice. A kind and wise female voice. If Mrs. Haskett had her way, she'd have me chopped down for firewood by the end of the week. Ben gasped. It was the tree talking. So that wasn't a dream. Flying all over London with dragonfly wings, Ben asked. Of course it wasn't a dream, the oak tree said. But that was yesterday. Today we need you to decode a secret message and find out where Sierra B has hidden something very valuable. Sierra B, a company of really rather nasty villains. Now then, thunk, Ben felt something hit him on the head. It was an acorn. This is your power today, said the tree. Remember, it will only last for a short time. So go on, get inside my trunk. Ben picked the glowing acorn up from the ground and put it inside his locket. He felt it vibrating gently against his chest. What will it do to me? He asked nervously. And what am I looking for? That's valuable. But the tree had gone silent again. Ben noticed that his neighbor was back outside, tending to her flowers. He guessed that the tree didn't like talking when Mrs. Haskett was around. So he found a hole in the trunk of the tree that was just big enough to squeeze into. And all at once, something beyond everything went black. When Ben stepped out again, he was in a tree opposite the Royal Albert Hall. Smart cars and taxis were dropping off people dressed in dinner jackets and fancy dresses. A carriage, drawn by 2 horses, pulled up outside. 2 smartly dressed people got out. Ben walked over to the horses. He stroked one of their noses as it munched on its nose bag. "I think my mission is here," Ben said to the horse. And with that, he walked in through the front door of the concert hall. Inside, could hear people muttering, "Unplump, unplump." Ben could see a large poster on the wall of a serious-looking boy with curly hair. Ben read a poster which said that tonight's concert was to be given by the world-famous cheer old boy BNSB Ervon Plump Pump. People were starting to gather around Ben. They were looking at him strangely. Ben felt uncomfortable, so he pushed his way through the crowd and out of the front door to find another way in. "I don't really feel like I have any special powers so far," Ben muttered to himself. Just then, a fire door at the back of the concert hall opened. A woman gasped, "Oh, you're right on time. Come through to your dressing room. You need to get ready." Before Ben could even protest, she was leading him into a small room with a large mirror. "I'll leave you to get ready," the woman said, and shut the door. Ben caught a glimpse of himself in the mirror. Where had his gingery hair gone? Now it was dark and curly. In fact, where had his face gone? A face he could see in the mirror was Pierre Von Plump's. "She must have thought I was him because of my curly hair," Ben said to himself. Then Ben noticed a pile of music on the dressing table and picked up one of the sheets. Music had always seemed almost impossible to read before. But now, as he looked at the notes on the page, he could instantly hear the music in his head. He felt that he could just sit down at a piano and play it all with ease. In fact, Ben realized, that's what I'm supposed to do. That's my power, becoming Von Plump. Maybe somewhere in the music there's a secret message revealing where the valuable object is hidden. The door of the dressing room suddenly burst open. A boy with dark curly hair was standing in the doorway. The 2 boys stared at each other. "You're Von Plump," said Ben. "And you're an imposter," said Von Plump. Pierre Von Plump frowned at the acorn locket around Ben's neck. And Ben gasped when he saw the locket Von Plump was wearing. It was a CRB. "You work for CRB," Ben said. his voice stuck in his throat. Von Plump didn't answer, but lunged at the sheet of music in Ben's hand. Ben dodged Von Plump and ran out of the dressing room and down the corridor. Von Plump was right behind him. "Get back here," shouted at Ben. Ben turned left, something beyond us. Then right, saw something beyond it. Then left again, trying to shake off Von Plump. But Ben had no idea where he was going, and after another right turn, he found himself on stage. 1,000 people were clapping wildly because they thought he was Von Plump. Ben gulped nervously, took a bow, and then walked with wobbly legs towards the grand piano. He put the sheet of music in front of him, cleared his throat, and began to play. His fingers flew over the keys. It felt wonderful to be able to play like this. It was so easy. After all, there were only 7 notes that anyone needed to know. The notes were named after the first 7 letters of the alphabet A to G. Why did I ever find it difficult? Ben wondered, as he played a series of notes. Over and over again, the notes were. Ben gasped. The notes spelled out a word. Nosebag, Ben said to himself. That's the secret message in the music. The horse outside the concert hall. The valuable object must be hidden in its nosebag. Just then, Ben saw Von Plump appear in the wings of the stage. Ben's fingers started to hit the wrong notes. Bang! Bang! God! It sounded terrible. Ben's powers were quickly wearing off. The audience were starting to boo. They sounded angry. Ben had to get out of there. So he did the only thing he could think of. He played the end of Twinkle. Twinkle, little star, as fast as he could. Da 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 da. He took a quick bow and ran out of the front door of the concert hall and down the steps. Ben ran across the road towards the carriage. Excuse me, Mr. Horse. Something beyond us or something beyond between, he said, plunging his hand into the nosebag. He felt around in the oat sand. There was something small and hard. A little bag. He pulled it out and... A pepper pot. This is the valuable object. Ben thought to himself, bewildered. But he didn't have time to think about it. He could see Von Plump running after him. He put the pepper pot back. As we conclude our time together, may the serenity of this moment linger with you through the night. You hold the power to create your own dreams, filled with wonder and possibility. We also meet a small plastic slate and a big toy frog for the kids. Knowing that tomorrow holds endless opportunities for growth and joy. Until we meet again, sleep well and embrace the beauty of your own imagination. Good night and sweet dreams.